6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome back through Black and White Eyes. I love it when hey, Mike's made it. He's made it back from the Amex. Buzzing. He'll be happy today, a little bit. Maybe not. I don't know. It's going to be a very interesting topic tonight in conversation. I hope Mike's seen the replay now and he realizes he's wrong, but we'll soon find out. Michael says coming back from behind to rescue a point was vital, especially with the Chelsea win. We'll talk about that tonight, of course. Evening, Michael. Leslie's in the house. Please like, share, subscribe, support the channel. It's free. You can join from 99p or donate in the bottom right-hand corner, and all profit is going to charity at the moment. Roger Timms will be telling me which donation, about 40-50 quid, and which charity he would like it donated to after we do our show on Tuesday. I'm really looking forward to that. Please keep things respectful as always. Roger, good evening. Kind of frustrating board draw before. It wasn't board draw, but Juve won up, £20 income, 20 million incoming. Obviously, that deal for Lloyd Kelly will go through once Juventus secure European football, so that's good news. Rubbish ref again for both sides. Can't really complain if he's rubbish for both sides, to be fair. They're all much of a munch. They're all terrible, let's face it. Who else have we got? We've got my number one fan in the house. She must be watching. Baz, all right, Roger, Gary. Emily's in the house. Nice to see Emily. It's been a little while. Hope you're well. Gary, Emily, and then John again. It's probably Mads, or it's his wife. I don't know. Right. Co-host time. How are we doing?
Good evening. How are you doing?
Good. Tired, but good.
Yeah, we're all tired.
I'm waking up again. Busy week. Busy week.
Yeah, it is.
Still not got confirmation yet about gutted. I was going to say today, but I've got to wait till tomorrow now. Devastated.
Don't squeak your lips just yet.
Exactly. John.
Baz, how are we doing, boy? All right?
Yeah.
Look, we're twinning. We're twinning.
We're twinning.
That's it. Aye, we're twinning.
Yeah. Mike's like, what the fuck have I got myself into tonight?
I've got to, I've not had a chance to catch up, but I've got to tell you off. My little one showed me, your number one fan showed me the TikTok, John fresh from school or fresh from work. Tell you what, you'll get my bad books, you will, kidder, I tell you.
Sorry, Mr. Potter.
Hey, I ain't got a bloody lightning bolt there yet.
I was always standing outside the headmaster's office when I was at school anyway, so there we go. Mike, how are we doing?
Hey.
Can you hear us, Mike?
Hi, guys. Hello, yeah, I'm here.
Hey.
I'm here. Hello.
Hey, you were better in your back garden.
You were.
I don't know, it's a bit dull and dark today, so I'm like back inside.
No,
it's been raining.
I saw the light was better in your back garden. What you've got on now?
Oh,
Here you go.
that's not, I love it. It's like a halo above you, like a halo above your head.
Yeah, it's just a ball bit, mate.
Good evening, Jules. I hope you're well. So yes, we are here to obviously talk about the 1-1 draw. It was a bit iffy game, but might Brighton do it again against Newcastle? Frustrate us, make it difficult for us to play? Can you sum up the game as you were there? You can tell us exactly what you thought of the 90 minutes.
Yeah, so I thought the first half was pretty uneventful, really. I thought that I was quite disappointed with you guys because you didn't really come at us in the first half at all. It was like, but no one really looked like doing anything until we scored. It was fairly even, and it wasn't a great game for Brighton supporters. Don't know about Newcastle. Probably was. You went in 1-0 down. Second half, when you brought Anthony Gordon on, a lot better, a lot brighter from your point of view. Put us under the cosh for a fair bit of that second half. I still haven't seen the UEFA challenge, but I'll have to take your view on that. I've no doubt that you're right. We're so far away from it that I can't see it. I'd like to have seen the challenge on O'Reilly again. I also don't blame the referee for.
Was that the penalty decision you think it was?
Yeah. I don't blame
soft.
the referee. Yeah, I don't know. Without seeing it, but it was right in front of us. I don't blame him for giving the 2 penalties that he gave for you guys. So weren't penalties because from his angle, they probably both look like penalties, and they weren't VAR, and that's what VAR's there for, to help him out in that respect. And no complaints about the penalty you got given. Definitely totally stupid from Iari. I thought 1-0 was a fair result. I don't think anyone really deserved to come away with the 3 points. We had that sitter at the end, like obviously that Gomez missed, but you had a chance. I think Callum Wilson was it at the end?
Wilson, great save from your keeper.
Which Verbruggen did a really good save. So I think all in all, probably 1-1 on reflection probably isn't a great result for either team in a long scheme of things, but there again, it's not deep for either team either. So, but I say 1-1 was probably fair from our point of view.
It's not the end of the world for us. Again, no contact for that one, so it wasn't a penalty. If you watch it on the replay, you'll understand why it wasn't given.
I have to take your word for these because at the game you're caught up in emotion. Everyone around you's getting like emotional about it, and everyone's giving the referee a lot of abuse. So you get caught up in all of that as well. And then I need to come back and watch it again as sort of detach myself and that and watch it again. But I've only had time to see the highlights, which is basically the goals and the 2 penalty decisions.
Yeah, perfect. Ian, your summary of the game?
Yeah, I thought for the first 10 minutes, I thought we were absolutely brilliant. Really took the game to Brighton. Looked very, very good. Had a few half chances, but then we kind of sat back a little bit and let Brighton get into the game. And the frustrating thing for me was where the positions where we decided to play in, which I thought Brighton were there for the taking today. I really did. Because they hadn't won for a while.
Yeah.
So I thought we should have been more brave. And the areas in the pitch that we should have played in was more higher up because we just, if you looked, we had a low guard again at times where we just ended low, and our build-up play came from very, very deep, which made us quite easy to defend against. When Isak must have touched that ball in that first half about 3 or 4 times.
Yeah,
and that's not good. I mean, Joe Willock made a great run down the left-hand side where he curled the one over with his outside of his foot. Harvey Barnes was quite effective on. Again, I thought our left-hand side was probably our best attacking threat coming down first half because Kieran Trippier, every time he got the ball, he looked inside, nothing was there. He came back and went across, was very pedestrian-like. Jacob Murphy, not existent. In front of him, very, very poor. And I know people made Joe Willock the scapegoat, and I just don't. No. I think, right, they made him the scapegoat because of Joe Linton replacement. I thought Joe Willock I think he played his part in that midfield 3. He certainly wasn't the worst player on the pitch. Jacob Murphy, I thought he was a 3 in that first half. Nothing but I can defend him in a way because the way we played didn't come down that side. So if anything came into him, it was very bitty. Nothing kind of worked that way. But our left-hand side was I thought Harvey Barnes had a very good first half. Joe Willock, when he interlinked, Taylor Livramento was good on that side. But apart from that, like I say, our build-up play frustrated me because it came from very, very deep the way we defended so deep. When I thought if it was pushed 20, 30 yards up the pitch, I just thought it would give them a much stronger fold in that game, which was frustrating. And to go 1-0 down at half time, you could see the goal coming and for me, Minter was. Everybody's saying Minter had a fantastic. I don't think Minter had a very, very good game at all. If it's my opinion, I just thought there was better players for the Brighton team than Minter. And I just think it's the focus because he was our player, which made him. Even the Sky Sports thing, he did really nothing apart from the goal. Don't get me wrong, I thought the goal was very, very good. Taylor Livramento showed him inside, but what happens is when you are playing a right footer in that in a left foot in a left back's position, it's natural to show him that way because it's
only stronger foot.
Exactly. Great finish though. Don't get me wrong, it's a great finish, a good goal. But I thought that's all he did in that half.
Yeah.
Which was
I thought he did a bit more. I'll come to that later though.
To me, I expect more because right. Everybody was everybody's going, Minter's this, Minter's that, we shouldn't have sold him, shouldn't have done this, right? So you automatically focus on him and go, right, let's watch him and let's see what he brings.
But weren't there a lot of people who said that didn't actually watch him? They just saw his stats. That was what they got. Do you know what I mean? That's what they were doing. They were looking at the stats and going, but he's in a Dutch team. He's doing really well. He's scoring all these goals. We can't sell him. But they never actually watched 90 minutes of football.
I thought Taylor Livramento dealt with him no problem whatsoever.
Yeah,
even when Dan Burn stepped across, it was never ever a threat.
Not sure about that.
Well, I
thought Dan Burn got lucky a couple of times.
I thought Dan Burn was exceptional today.
I thought he was good. I wouldn't say exceptional because he should have been carded in the first 15 minutes when he took out Minter on that touchline. That was a terrible challenge.
You're going to go down the card route with
we'll come to that, but that was the first initial bad tackle in the game. 15 minutes into it, that should have been a yellow card.
I thought Dan Burn was our star man today. I thought he was
good.
I thought he was tremendous.
Fair enough. John, your summary of the game, and we'll get into the nitty gritty of it.
Yeah, a little bit like Ian. I mean, I as I was going through, I made some notes on my phone just so I remember, just in case I did have a couple of too many beers. But no, first, like Ian said, first 15 minutes. I mean, Tonali, he went down the wing. I think it was about minute 7 or 8, and he just left them for dead. It was like taxi.
Yeah, he was quick.
And he just carried on going, and I was like, brilliant. Here we go. This is what we're doing. What got me, and Ian said it exactly, we played too deep. And at one point, I noted that Tonali was almost playing a centre-back role. And I'm thinking, what on earth are you doing there? Don't get me wrong, I know he's defensive-minded. He's that sort of holding me. But what on earth are you doing in that? It was a back four then.
Well, he was trying to play a quarterback role, wasn't he, at the time?
Honestly, and I was like, what are you doing there? You need to be a good 10, 15, 20 yards further up to take the ball from the defence to move it up. And that's, Ian said it, that was where we struggled. We were just playing too far deep. Everybody moved back 10, 15, 20 yards, and that cost us, I agree. I think Murphy was pretty non-existent first 25, 30 minutes or so, probably first half. He came in a little bit. Gordon made a bit of a difference second half. Tino was great. I'm with you, Baz. I think I actually, when Dan Burn went in and he took out Minte, I said straight away that's a yellow card. I think it should have been. He's not made. I don't think he's made any attempt for the ball there. The ball's long gone.
It's took one for the team challenge, wasn't it?
Yes, it's one for the team. But it was to me it was just a vanilla game. It really was. I think from both sides. I think it was vanilla. Brighton have got nothing to play for.
Well, they've still got a chance to get Europe.
I think they've got a chance for Europe, but it's not. It's a bit easier for them to get into that 6th, 7th, 8th place sort of thing. But for us, we should have really got in today, especially Arsenal losing yesterday. Knowing that Chelsea played after us, we should have really I think we should have put a marker down for that 3rd place. I mean, I know some people have said that we can finish 2nd if results go our way.
We could have. No. If we won all 4 of our games, we would have been 2nd. That's exactly how the mathematics work.
But
not now.
I think Brighton's ground now is a place where we go to. We really struggle, and it's one of them where we just struggle to find a result. And I don't know what we're going to do. I mean, bloody hell, we fluked Diarmé.
That was 2017. It was in the Championship. That was the last time we won at the Amex.
Right, and it was Atsu free kick, and then Diarmé's whatever he tried to do.
No, it wasn't an Atsu free kick. It was Diarmé equaliser, and then it was a Perez winner.
That's right.
Yeah.
But how? It's one of them grounds where we just maybe struggle to do things.
Well, we do. We proof is in the pudding, isn't it? I mean, I think this is the first point we've got from Brighton, Mike, for a long time.
I think in the Amex,
yeah.
I remember 0-0 at your place under Newton.
Yes.
For a long time.
You are our bogey team. I mean,
Mike, on Friday, you said we were going to wallop you. I mean, you must be happy with the today.
Yeah, I mean, we all said before that game we would have taken.
No, I never.
No, not you.
You said you'd take a draw and you predicted 1-1.
I said 1-1.
Exactly. So you didn't say we were going to wallop them.
No, I'm on about Brighton fans.
Oh, right.
I said we were going to be 2-1, but I said I wouldn't be surprised if you beat us. So,
it's never a dull moment.
Square outside, and they just got. So I think before the game, if you said to any Brighton fans, one would have taken that. To be fair, and I think as a game panned out, that's like I say, it's a fair result. It's just when you're that late into the game with a 1-0, you kind of want your team to hold out.
Yeah.
And that's one thing. That's one thing we've got to get better at. And that's no disrespect to Newcastle. You're a good side, and you with eyes on team players like that, you've always got a chance of scoring. But we've got to learn to manage it better if we want to progress as a team. But yeah, I actually thought you would actually sort of when I saw Weaver on, I was like, oh no, we're right back. He actually did all right, apart from that first 5-10 minutes. He had a good game, but and then obviously the challenges, which I know you're going to come on to, but the I thought you might do far more overlapping down that side because when you did that in the second half, when Gordon and was Trippier were overlapping down that side, it caused us loads of problems. So, and that's what I expected you to do in the first half, which never quite happened apart from that first 10 minutes, 15 minutes. But that's where I thought the joy was going to come.
Yeah. So you told us so you told us on the show last night, on Friday's night. Sorry, you said if we go down your wings, we'll have a lot of success. And in the first 15 minutes, we were getting success. And Murphy actually played his part in the first 15 minutes because there was a lovely 1-2 with Bruno that got him to the bar line. It was just his final ball was terrible. And again, there was the Tonali run down the left. There was Tino running down the left. But the crosses, the final pass, you could tell in that first 20 minutes something wasn't right with us because our final ball is much better than that normally. And I don't think we got a shot off on goal really until Willock had that lovely run again down the left-hand side, used his pace to get in. And then all he had to do was square it to the back post. And I think Isak had a tap in. But he decided to try and take it himself and skied it over the bar, which was very, very frustrating. Obviously, we covered the Dan Burn challenge. It's definitely a yellow card. We've obviously got to cover the Brighton challenges because personally, I think he should have been down to 10 men after watching the replay. I didn't say straight because John said that I've seen them given, and I said maybe it's a bit soft. And then I saw another angle of it, and I went, "Oh, Jesus, that is actually a yellow card, and he should have been off." And VAR were checking for a red card, which to me says it was a bad challenge. So, and then obviously your manager then whips him off straight away, giving him a chance to stay on the pitch. I mean, the first yellow was soft. I mean, it's a yellow, but it's soft. But the potential red card, though, John, you said it straight away. You said I've seen them given, and it was late. He took his ankle. I mean, he did get a bit of a ball, but was he technically out of control? Was that the reason why you thought it was?
I said to you, obviously, I said straight away. I said, for me, it's his ankle is not. He's not gone in. His ankle's not. He's not gone in like. He's gone in like that. So this is his ankle and his foot here. He's gone like that. He's not gone in for a tackle like that, which players would normally do. He's gone in studs up. It's over his ankle. I think he's off the ground. Yes, you could argue his training leg is on the ground, but it's uncontrolled. It's high. It's late. For me, actually I think it's a straight red. It's not even a yellow. It's a straight red. No offense, Mike, but if that was Bruno or Joe Linton, I would say exactly the same thing. I think it's a straight red because it's the fact that his ankle is there. It's literally that's his leg and his ankle is there with his studs up. That's a straight red because it's stud showing.
Interesting. Ian, what did you make of the challenge?
It can go either way. I can see both sides, but
for a yellow, because I mean VAR were checking it for a red, which means they must have deemed it to be a yellow card.
VAR today took an absolute eternity to do a handball for a penalty, which was the Stonewaller. But we're not going to go down the VAR route because we know that's what they do. For me, that can go either way. I can totally see why it could be a red. I can see why it could be a yellow. It was nasty. As simple as that. So
it was a yellow. That was my thinking of it. And that would have been his second yellow, and then that would have been a red.
The thing is, though, if we're in the VAR room right now, exactly what we're seeing, my opinion is it can go either way. You've just said a yellow, and John said a red.
No, but VAR only look at challenges for red cards. They can't give a yellow, which is why I was saying to Mike, because they were looking at it as a red, surely the referee on the field should have given a yellow.
Right, but how many decisions today that man on the middle went, that's my decision, and it got overturned?
But he wasn't overturning anything when it comes to the cards, though, because you can't overturn the cards.
No, but
because the referee didn't give a yellow, right? It means that when VAR look at it, the VAR can't say to the referee, right, you made a mistake, you need to give a yellow and send them off. They can only judge it on a red card offence, and that is it. So this is why I'm saying the referee made a mistake, because he should have really given a yellow.
I will say, I think that, I mean, whatever we all think about VAR, I mean, I hate it.
It got stuff right today, though, didn't it?
stand it. I like VAR, right?
No, I can't stand it because it gives everybody those talking points. But I think what VAR does is it slows it down, and that's the problem. You see, the referee in the pitch, he saw it at quick speed, at normal speed. VAR slows it down intentionally, that frame by frame. Okay. So you see him hitting him like that, and that's the problem. Is you don't see what's come before it. If all they did was play it at normal speed, I think that would work for everybody.
I get what you're saying. So they make the still pictures look worse, don't they?
Yeah. What I loved about VR today is I stood up and went penalty. Joe Willock. Penalty.
Yeah. Like I said, VAR got a lot right today as well.
The moon for them to turn it around and book him for simulation. I was over the moon to do that because that's what it's there for.
Yeah,
they give a penalty or just say, look, you've dived for simulation. That was great. Loved it.
But the inconsistency is VAR looked at the Brighton penalty, says there was nothing in it. Why wasn't the Brighton player booked for simulation? But Joe Willock was. Do you know what I mean?
I get what you're saying, Baz, but Joe Willock.
But was Joe Willock actually looking for the penalty though? Because
Yes.
I saw him when he went down. I don't think he was actually appealing for the penalty. And there was a touch on him, but it wasn't enough to take him down. So
I think he's thought there's more of a touch coming than there was.
Yeah,
If you notice, the Brighton player actually pulled her back. He's
Yeah.
pulled back from it. So I think Willock thought there was more contact coming, which would have given the penalty.
Not
But
for
he's-
me. I think
No, of course it is, Ian. Come on.
no, listen to what he's saying here. And he's saying that Joe Willock was expecting the leg to be further out, so there was more contact coming. And if there was more contact coming, he would have been fouled and it would have been a penalty. He's not saying that Joe Willock hasn't dived. He's saying that there's a potential that
he's stimulated.
Joe Willock in his mind, but Joe Linton in his mind was thinking, not Joe Linton, sorry, Willock, in his mind was thinking, this player's going to take me out. So everyone does it. Everyone do. Or watch all the players. They all do it. They all think there's big contact coming, so they start to go down.
He stimulated that for that tackle, and he's got booked for early.
Yeah, I get that, but there is a slight touch as well on his knee. Roll it back, watch it again. Trust me.
You've got your black and white eyes on.
I haven't because I watched it plenty of times. And do you know what the VAR said? The VAR ruled it out by saying
I'm not going to sit here because you know what I'm like.
Listen.
I'm black and white through and through, right? But I look at things, right?
But you're not listening.
Got your black and white eyes. He played for that.
No, he played for it.
It doesn't matter, right? I'll play the game, right? It doesn't matter what you're thinking that he might get contact. He's died.
But there was contact. The VAR reason. Yeah, but there was slight contact, so he didn't just go down thinking there wasn't.
Exactly the same for Liverpool, and he wins penalties.
Slight contact,
right?
Yeah.
And if that happened to Diego Jota, he'd be calling him a diving little shit because it's
I wouldn't.
You're defending him. He
I'm
dived.
I'm not defending him. I'm not. I'm saying it's a dive.
Mike,
listen. VAR ruled it out because there wasn't enough contact.
There was no contact.
There was.
I thought it was a dive. I've got to say, if that had happened with one of our players doing that, I'd have had no complaints about them being booked for that. To be fair, the referee was just. I don't want to go on about him, but he was just so inconsistent with everything he did today, and it was one of the poorest refereeing displays I've seen at the Amex. And to put it in context, there was a challenge on Livramento in like the first 10 minutes by Baliba, who didn't get any of the balls right in front of me. Baliba didn't get any of the balls, slid in. Livramento went down and he gave a goal kick. So there's just things like that happening throughout the game, which just set the tone. And it just set the tone throughout. Went on through. Then you had Dan Burn, and it just went on like that. But that was, I thought it was a dive, and I thought he deserved to get booked for that. And I think had that been one of our players, I would have expected the same thing. To be fair.
Get that. What about the Minter on Tino, which caused him a lot of pain and also contributed to your goal as well? Because obviously Tino's ankle, I mean, I watched it in replay and it literally gave way. Now it was clumsy, but should he have been given a free kick?
I was actually really disappointed with the way our crowd reacted with that, because I was straight away my son and said, like, he's been out with a really bad injury, and our crowd started booing him, and it was like, what the hell, because it happened similar time when Jacob Mulder had the same thing with his ACL went. So you never want to see that. And I hate it when fans start doing that. It's just ridiculous. But yeah, again, it's another piece of refereeing that's just poor. We say it every week, Baz, on Twitter, that the standard refereeing is just absolutely awful. And that was no different today.
Yeah, I'll tell you what.
But I'd like to say, go on about the game rather than the referee, and there are two teams that would, not the quality wasn't there all the time, but there's still two teams that are trying to go at it, and it's a frustrating game for both sets of fans. But I think from an outsider's point, an entertaining game. It's a bit end to end, particularly in that last 15 minutes.
Yes.
So rather talk about that than a referee, to be fair.
Yeah, I get it.
Quickly about your standard refereeing though. It's the referee play a massive part in the game, and we all know that. And if you're home or away, normally you expect your home team to have the referee on your side. But I know you're on about the standard refereeing. At what level of decision making, what makes it fair? Because you're at home and you want your home team to win. You know what I'm trying to say here is, do you want the referee to be on your side, or do you want the referee just to be level-headed? Or it's so difficult.
Ian, the best games are the games when you're not even talking about the referee. The best games are games when the game just goes on and you forget, you might even forget the referee was there. You know, those are the games that I love. When we're not even talking about referee. You know, we had the game at West Ham. It was a great game. Both teams going for it. Didn't even notice the referee at all. You know, and that's the sort of refereeing I want out there. Where it's, and I know you're not going to get that every week. I said referee human and make mistakes, but when they're making as many mistakes when they're right in front of them, it's just frustrating for a supporter, and you end up talking about referees, talking about VAR, and it's just never ending. When we talk about the game and you know what was effective, what wasn't effective on our point of view. You're going on about Minte. I thought our standout player was Believer. I thought Believer was just quality in our midfield.
Believer was very good. But I don't think Minter was bad. I mean, the first half tactics was get the ball down the right-hand channel to Minter because he had Dan Burns, you know, he had the pace on Dan Burns. That's what they were trying to do.
Yeah, Minte's exactly how I said to you how he was when you asked me about him in the show. That's how he has been all season. So now and again, you'll see a flash of brilliance. He's raw and he's young and he's learning and he will get better. But wingers are often like that anyway. They have patches, they have good games, and you know he obviously was a bit fired up because it's against Newcastle.
I thought you forget Minter. I thought Believer and O'Reilly were very, very effective with our midfield three. O'Reilly played a lovely deep role, and then he was more effective when he just went to that final third. And I just thought he was so intelligent where he played. And Believer behind him covered every inch of grass. And sometimes his passing wasn't great, but what he did was he tidied every little bit of shit up, what your midfield's left or what we broke down or anything like that. I thought he was very, very effective what he did. I thought he was a great player. And I thought he was probably your best player today was Believer. And and he wasn't outstanding, but his job's what he had to do. I thought he was probably an 8.5, 9 out of 10 today. I thought he was brilliant.
Yeah.
High praise. Very high praise.
I think I've got spot on to single them two out.
I've got to ask about Minter's celebration. Were you at that end or the other end?
I'm at the other end. That was in front of you guys.
It was a bit of a strange one because some people are saying that was him saying he didn't want to leave Newcastle, but to me, the way he was pointing to the Brighton badge and saying, "I'm here," you know, it seemed to me that he was very happy where he is, and people
he sort of
messages on it.
Yeah, he started celebrating, and I think he realised who it was against, and then he was kind of like hands together, apologising.
I mean that.
I just, I think, Dan Burn, like when he scored against us at St James's, he celebrated because it was his first goal. I think once you've left the club, it's okay having respect, but it's also okay to celebrate. You know, it's a fair play to him. It's his decision. It's up to him. You know, I don't think. I
agree with that. Players should celebrate. It doesn't matter who you played for, what you played for. I mean, Alan Shearer celebrated when he scored against Newcastle. I mean,
Blackburn
FA Cup game. Yeah, made it 1-1.
But
But I don't understand all this, don't celebrate and all that kind of rubbish. John, are you on that side as well? Do you agree with me that I think he was pointing to his Brighton badge and saying, I'm here?
I think first it was like almost a 30-second celebration. I thought the first 10 seconds, 20 seconds, 15, whatever, I thought, no, he's not celebrating. He's like, no, I'm not going to celebrate, because I think it was in front of our fans, I think.
He was, yeah.
So I think he was like, no, I'm not going to celebrate. And then I'm with you, Baz. The minute he started doing, I mean, obviously for him, pointing and saying, no, I'm here, I was like, well, hold on. You you didn't leave on bad terms, pal. It wasn't like there was anything. I mean, he hardly played any minutes. Really,
never played the game for us.
So I'm like, hold on. Don't start being. It felt a bit bolshy. A bit like arrogant. Like, no, I'm here. Yeah. Well, fine, you're there, great, and you scored, but you didn't do anything for us. It's not like you were like, if it was Alan Shearer and you ever went to Man United after us or whatever, or anything like that, you could understand that. And Andy Cole in 95, 95, 96 era. But mate, you didn't even put the first team shirt on. So why are you being a bit like that?
Yeah,
I'm here. I'm at Brighton. This is where I was like, well, okay, fine. You crack on being at Brighton. Crack on, son.
Crack on. And to be fair, I thought you had a decent game. I think the turning point for us, and I said he should have started personally, and I know we're going to get arguments either side about Barnes, and Barnes did all right, but Anthony Gordon comes on and makes a big difference for me. Literally within a minute, we thought he won a penalty. And the reason why he won that is because he stayed out and stuck out to the left-hand side. This is my criticism with Barnes sometimes when he plays. He comes too central, where Gordon gives you that width all game, and he waits for the ball out there, then he cuts inside. Harvey Barnes likes to wander a lot. And I think the switch worked quite well today, because I thought Barnes did all right on the right-hand side after Murphy was non-existent after the first 15 minutes. I thought it was a perfect change to make. The referee points to the spot. It's definitely a foul. But then obviously when we see the replay a few times, it's just outside the box. So I have no quarrels with the referee giving a penalty. I have no quarrels with VAR stepping in and overruling it. That's what VAR is for. And that's when we like it to work. Yes, it went against us this time, but if it was at the other end, we'd obviously be thinking, brilliant, VAR's done its job for a change.
Yeah.
And it's just a shame we have to keep saying that. It's done its job for a change. It's not that it's, technology's there, it's working, it's the people who run it that is the problem. And then, obviously, we got the Willock dive, which is definitely not a penalty again. I thought penalty straight away from the angle where we're watching the game on TV. I thought, he's got a nick on him. And then, obviously, when we watch it again, it's not enough to bring him down. So VAR overrules that one as well. But we were knocking on the door, weren't we, Ian? So the changes worked. We were knocking on the door. He went bold. He put Wilson on as well. I've got no problems with how Eddie Howe managed the game today. It just didn't really go in our favour, but it was starting to turn a bit, wasn't it?
Yeah, because we're starting to play higher up the field.
Yeah.
That was the difference. And from minute 1 to minute 90, if Newcastle United played from the halfway line forward, I think we would have had a much better chance of winning this football match. And it showed when we were more threatening in the final quarter of that pitch when we decided to start getting up the pitch. I thought Bruno...
We took some risks, didn't we? But we also left ourselves a little bit short at the back at times. But we had to because we were 1-0 down, weren't we?
I thought the build-up play from Trippier down the side was very, very good. Tino Livramento on the left-hand side, he's left isolated. It's either him going forward or nothing, in my opinion. Tonali, I would love to see Tonali. If I'm looking back at the game, I would love to see him again 20 yards further forward with the way he plays across the pitch and brings everybody into play. Bruno that little bit further forward because his intelligent play, playing between the lines is just fucking absolutely brilliant. Which then brings Isak into the game, which Isak again, because of our play was so deep, was very, very, apart from the penalty, he just brought very, very little to the game. Even when he went out left, when we made a substitution, brought Wilson on, it was just a very difficult away game at Brighton, which I said would be. It's frustrating, but we don't go down to Brighton and win. So to come away with the point, I'm over the moon. But I just think if we played from minute one further up the field, I think we could have caused Brighton a lot of problems to deal with our attacking threats. I really do. And I played the Brighton side because the way they're set up, Believer, great holding midfielder. O'Reilly can just dictate and go around there. Minter just hung out wide and dropped deep, can create threats from wide. You know what I mean? And you got Estepanian, the fullback that can just drift in. And then brought Lamptey on, who done very, very well. And you've got the other kid that came on, the fullback.
Another fullback. I thought Lamptey was the one who came on as a right back. It was a left back change as well.
Yeah, he came on right back, yeah. And I thought Hinsonwood had a very, very effective game as well. It's been a frustrating game for me. I expected so much more from Newcastle United, but I accept the point. It's not a bad result down there because...
Well, to put it in perspective, Brighton have only lost 3 at home all season.
Yeah. It was.
And we haven't won there since 2017. So a point's a good point.
Yeah.
I think we've gone there looking for that draw.
Do you?
Yeah.
I don't
I
think
think we've gone there looking for it. I absolutely do.
What did you think going down to Newcastle United? What did you think as a fan going down there today? What was your first initial thought of, can we go down there and win that football match?
Absolutely. Absolutely. The way we've been playing over the last 5-6 weeks, absolutely. But looking back on it now, retrospectively, and obviously retrospectively, looking back in hindsight is a great thing.
Mm-hmm.
I think we've gone down there for the draw. We could have gone down there and absolutely, no offense, Mike, but we could have played Newcastle at their best, been the Newcastle that we know. But I think today we've gone down, we've looked for that draw, we've took the point, we've stolen a point. I think instead of losing, the old thing is don't lose your away games, don't lose your home games, but don't lose away. If you can draw away, you're onto a winner, and I think that's what we've done today. A point is better than losing.
No, it is definitely, but I don't think Eddie Howe sets up a team to go and get a draw. This is what he said. Eddie Howe and the Brighton draw, it's probably a good point for us, even though we came here to win. Our final pass and cross probably wasn't at its finest level. We were very disappointed with how we conceded. We did enough to warrant a point, if not more. I thought we were the team trying to win the game. Now, obviously, Brighton were trying to win the game as well because...
I don't get that what he said there.
Well, I think he sets up his team to try and win. He's always said that, hasn't he?
Yeah, I get that, but Brighton, fair play to Brighton, they played on the front foot.
No, they did.
And they weren't defensive at all, Brighton. No, you can't take that away from Brighton and say
I think he was looking at the second half, wasn't he? And thinking we had more of the ball and the better opportunities going forward.
Effectively, on the whole of the game, Brighton were the ones that were probably more likely to score and to take it forward until we went 1-0 down.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean in the second half. So, the stats are going to prove you completely wrong because they had 46% of possession. We had 54% of possession. Their expected goals was 0.69. Ours was 1.87.
Yeah, that's what Eddie Howe will go back and go. He loves his stats. He'll go, we were the better team.
We weren't the better team, but the stats show that the chances we had were better than Brighton's. So we had 13 shots. They had 5 shots. So we had more attempts on goal. I
think we had that sitter at the end, which is probably should have won it. To be fair, so you're saying the best chances. I think that fallen to any other player, it would have been in the back of the net. It come to Gomez, who had just come on the pitch.
Yeah,
and
the header.
He headed.
The header at the end. But But we've got no qualms about. Let's go back to the
Missed
penalty
that.
because I couldn't believe he missed it. To be fair, but then Wilson, what a great save from the keeper at the very end as well.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? This is the thing, and
Yeah.
but we did finally get our.
I think the
penalty.
thing is, Wilson still had to beat the keeper. Like Gomez had a virtually open goal. It was like just ridiculous. But,
well, if you put it either side of the keeper,
I'm
there's no target.
I'm not dissing. I'm saying that sometimes stats don't tell the whole picture. That's what, like Ian said, it doesn't paint the whole picture of the game. That's kind of what I'm suggesting. I'm not dissing. Tell me when better than you guys or whatever. I don't think either team could claim that they were amazingly better than the other team. You know, I think it's
definitely
probably
not.
both managers first of all said the draw was a fair result, and then they went on to go on about how it should have panned out. So,
it was definitely a fair result. But in the second half, I would say we were the team that, after we equalised, I mean, I think we were more of a threat at the time. I think in the first half, you guys, took the lead, and then you stifled us, and you looked good. You were pretty on the ball, making it difficult for us. And then when we got the equaliser, I thought we were the team in the ascendancy, and then obviously we were susceptible at the back because we were pushing a lot of players forward to try and win the game. And it shows in the expected goals and things like that. But again, I think a draw is definitely a fair result, 100%. And we've got no qualms about the penalty, have we? That was given. It was definitely a penalty. And it was definitely a free kick as well. Before anyone thinks that Derby Barnes died.
I don't understand it. I don't understand why it took so long to give it. It's like just so ridiculous.
I think they were trying to work out how far away his hand was from his body, weren't they? That's the thing. Was it in a natural position?
Anyone who watched that, Baz, didn't need VAR to see that was a penalty. His arms like 3 foot out from the side of his body.
But they were also
checking towards the ball.
They were checking offside. That was the next thing they were looking at.
How long does that take? It's just so annoying. It takes that long, I'm sitting there sometimes and I'm like, just give the bloody penalty. I'd rather just give the penalty and it's done with because it just takes so long.
It does.
I think
that's why we got 9 minutes.
Mike has got a point there. You've got to look at each phase. So the penalty that should have been decided, regardless of whether it's offside. Because otherwise you go, well, that could have been offside. Oh, well, that could have been a foul back there. Or that could have been a foul back there.
That's what they look at. That's what they all look at.
Eventually you're going back to minute 0. No, it's that phase of play. So he hit the ball for the free kick. Is that there? Regardless whether he's offside.
Yeah, but if the player's offside and he's obstructed the defender, they would then overrule it.
But then that would come if he did score.
Not
if the player then scores. Then you bring it back to his offside. No, I think you're wrong, Baz.
No, I am
it's
right.
a free kick.
That's what I'm saying. No, I think well, not you necessarily. It's wrong. The phase of play. He's hit the ball. He's hit his arm, regardless whether he's offside, because that becomes irrelevant. The defender's handling the ball.
I'll give you an example why. Right. So if the goalkeeper is obstructed when a ball goes in, right, regardless if that player touched the ball or not, he's in an offside position, he's obstructed the view of the keeper, he's then offside. So that's the same thing that we're looking at for the free kick. Was there a player offside who was obstructing the defender and causing him to that? No, that's what they looked at. That is the reason why they were looking at it.
It becomes semantics because Brian Clough always said it. If you're not interfering in play, well, what are you doing on the football field? Do you know what I mean? It's true. It becomes semantics.
But this is why VAR needs to be looked at in the way that it's managed. It's not VAR. No, we can't scrap it because, well, we would have won 3-1 today if we had scrapped it.
Look, if you scrap it, that's what the beauty is. Sometimes you get an offside goes your way. It doesn't. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes you get the penalty. Sometimes you don't. That's the beauty. True. It's been there for 100 and whatever years since Football League. Scrap it. I mean, okay, granted, we haven't had technology for that long. Get rid of it. Done.
See. Yeah. I like it, and I think slowly they're improving. Slowly, and my word, what I've just said there, slowly. They're
Yeah,
improving.
they shouldn't be this slow, though, should they? I mean, we all saw it work in America. We all saw it work in Australia. We saw it work in the World Cup.
It's so important to this football game because it matters so much.
Mm.
And if you look at it in PSR rules and all this, this is why it's so important, because these results mean so much to football clubs, because that result can make a massive difference financially. So,
but that's the wrong point. Then we're looking at football. We're looking at football from the financial point,
right?
Not the football.
Now,
I get it, but we're looking at it from the wrong point.
Football now, forget about the game, forget about the rule of football as much as we love it. It's the direction of football, what it's going in. So we need these rules to help our football club. I don't like it, but you've got to accept it.
Yeah, he's right, John, unfortunately.
I don't like it, but you've got to accept it. It's not right.
I disagree, because it's not standard across all the leagues. So that's why I disagree. If you're going to bring something in, you implement it across everything as much as you can't do it. You can't do it across like my local team, but you implement it across all the professional leagues. But they haven't, and that's why
costs too much money. That's why
costs too much money, and only matters at the top. And where's the money at the top?
I think it's wrong.
Right,
yeah, it's wrong. That's what we said, but it's there.
You've got to accept what's in place to help our football club, and our football club is going to go in a direction where it's going to be financially driven, right? And it doesn't make a difference of what goes on around it. We've got to have to accept it. As a fan, you either like what's going on or you don't, or you accept it. Unfortunately, I get what you're saying. 1,000,000%. It's wrong, but you just have to accept what's going on.
Remember when the goal line technology got turned off and there was a goal that should have been allowed that was disallowed?
Yeah.
And it cost that club £100 million because it got relegated because of that one bad decision. So this is why technology is used. It's why we want it in the game, to eradicate mistakes that cost.
So if you reverse that, like exactly the example you just said there, Baz, and that was for us as Newcastle United, and the difference was to go out and spend an extra 50 million in a transfer window. If we didn't have that technology, what would you do?
I'd be upset.
would you thank the technology to go, do you know what is that decision made to sign? I'm going to use an example, Mbappe. So you'll be happy for that technology for us to sign Mbappe, for our club to move forward. Because
I'll be disappointed in the technology because we just signed Mbappe.
It was the example of what I'd said. So you'll be happy with the technology because this is what I'm trying to say is
I get it.
It's there. Some of the decisions are wrong. We all know that.
Ooh, that's a good question.
I'm going to leave it at that.
Do you think the refs want VAR? It's a good question, that, because I think referees have got a little bit lazy. I think, Mike, you mentioned that on Friday, didn't you? Referees have got lazy because they depend on VAR too much. And but again, we want VAR to be there to eradicate the absolute shocker, not to manage the game. That's the problem I've got with VAR. So if it was there to, like, just for the penalties today, fair play. But for every other little thing, like, do you know when they ruled out the Inter Milan Barcelona game for offside, and he's like, toe was that much offside? It's like, that's not what VAR was brought in for. It was in there to eradicate the shockers, and that's not a shocker for me. You know,
what about the penalty of Atletico Madrid, where he touches twice?
Yeah. Oh, well, Argentina, they did it twice, didn't they, in the World Cup, and got away with it.
Yeah. Things like that.
Yeah. So VAR has its, it has its acceptable points. It has its good points, but it also has its terrible points because of the people who run it. Not the technology. It's the people who make the rules and run it. That's the problem. And that's what I've always had an issue with. And I watched quite a lot when I had the chance to. I watched a lot of the American football and the Australian football because I had nothing else to do when I was on night shifts. And I watched VAR being used, and I was interested in it. And then when I saw it in the World Cup, I was like, we need this in the Premier League because this is brilliant. The way it was run, it was fantastic. And then as soon as we got it, they just completely effed it up. That was the problem. They've absolutely ruined it, to be fair. So we've got a lot to learn. Right, let's have a look at the league table. It's not looking as rosy as it was, but I still think we're going to get top 5. Forget about second, forget about third. I mean, we still could get third. You just never know. But it's all about finishing 5th. Now, we have a much better goal difference than Forest and Villa. So that means we have to lose 2 of the last 3 games for Forest to overtake us. Or draw 1, potentially. And they have to win 2 games. And then they go ahead of us by 2 points. So 7 points. So a draw and 2 wins gets us Champions League football because of our goal difference. There's no way we can be overtaken. Don't forget, Chelsea play Forest on the last game of the season as well. So that makes it even harder for them to catch us. So I know it doesn't look great, but I still think we're in a fantastic position. Sorry, Mike, you're not in the picture, obviously. I know you're fighting for 8, which will get you potentially a Europa League spot, conference spot, sorry. Because obviously, if we get in Champions League and Man City win the FA Cup, it drops down to 8th place. But Yin, looking at that table, I mean, I'm still saying it. I think Champions League's done and dusted with the games we've got left. Next week becomes massive against Chelsea now. That's a do not lose. Do not lose against Chelsea.
And I'm glad.
Yeah, massively. Our next Arsenal away is, again, all depends what happens in the Champions League. We saw what Liverpool did today against Chelsea. They're nothing to play for. So they fielded 6 extra squad players and Chelsea steamrolled them. Arsenal could potentially do the same. They've got nothing to play for. They could rest a lot of players and that could work in our favour. But I still think having 2 wins and we've done it.
Forest running, I think, is a little bit easier than ours.
Yeah, but they're bottling it under the pressure, though, aren't they?
However, we've got 2 home games. That's massive.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the difference. We've got 2 massive home games. Chelsea's huge. Biggest game of the season for me. Massive. Bigger than the cup final if we really want to go to Champions League football, because this is the make or break. Mm-hmm. If we overcome them at home, we've done it.
Yeah. I think even if we get a point, I still think a point's a huge.
No, I think if we beat them at home, mate, I think that's it, done.
Well, that'll take us to 66. All depends what Forest and Villa do, but yeah, I think it'll be pretty close. Yeah. 7 points guarantees it. It's as simple as that. That's how the maths works.
Yeah.
But because Chelsea are playing Forest on the last day of the season, all depends on Villa then. It's an interesting one. It's the only thing we've got to talk about on our Premier League show now is who's going to finish in the Champions League spots, because everything else is decided. John, what's your thoughts on the position we are in the league and what's left to do?
Yeah, I still think obviously it goes without saying it's in our hands. The Chelsea game, as Ian quite rightly says, is massive. I still think we get Champions League. I mean, this is controversial. It's going to cause some upset. Do we want that? Have we got the squad? Can we get? Well, what I'm saying with that is, we've been there. We didn't have the squad, and we didn't buy the players and have the squad depth. Can we do that again? Is what I'm saying. Can we go into the Champions League? Have we got the squad depth? I don't think we have. Can we do it this summer? I'd like to think we can.
Yeah, but
you never know. And that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying I don't want us to be in the Champions League. Of course I do. Bloody hell, it's massive. But I'm very aware
of what happened
when we went in last time. We didn't have the squad depth. We had an average season.
Yeah. We finished 7th, didn't we? It wasn't that bad.
But when we went into the Champions League the last time, we went in there with 0% of the potential transfer fee, because we've already had the squad in place. This time, we've got 75% if we qualify in Europe. If you turn over, that's different, because we've already got these players here now. I know we can't spend as much as what people think, but we've still got 75% to spend and help.
But with all respect, Ian, I don't know if that buys us enough of a squad depth.
If you're clever, we can still go out and sign 3 players that'll make our squad better. What we've got.
I'm not saying it wouldn't, but I think we need to have at least a good. I think we need to get at least a good, not squad players, but a good 5 or 6 players to mount a better challenge than we had last time.
Yeah, what I mean,
3 doesn't cut it for me.
What I mean by squad players, I don't mean just any £10 million players or £15 million players just to fill the gaps. I mean players that can come in and challenge for first team.
No, I'm with you. I'm with you, but I still think we need 5 or 6, not 3. I think we need 5 or 6.
We will not be able to go out and get 5 or 6 players. By the way, I'm telling you now, not a cat and hell's chance. There'll be 3 maximum coming in the summer.
Well, that's what's been said on there. They said 3 definite, but it all depends on player sales to whether they bring anybody else in as well.
Maximum there'll be 3 players targeted, and then there'll be a goalkeeper, another centre back, a right winger, and then a centre forward if there's an emergency. So that'll be the direction we will go down in the transfer window. And to stick my neck out, I still think we'll bring Trafford in. I still think we'll be pushing for AC Milan with Malik Chow or Guy. And I think it'll be Tyler Diblin. There you go.
Someone said that Gay could be available for 40 million this summer, which will be interesting. But I don't know if he'll leave Palace now with them potentially being in Europe.
For me, then,
I've also heard that Gay could be going to Liverpool.
Yeah, there is that as well.
For me, if that's what we're looking at, I hate to say it, I'd rather take a hit and go on the Europa League than hit the Champions League, because those players.
Why?
Because those players don't give us enough depth in the squad.
It's a tough one to say because we still finished 7th with a really injury hit squad the last time. So we finished 7th. That would have been European football, and we also beat PSG and we ran very close to the rest of the teams. Should have got a 3 points at Paris Saint-Germain as well, which would have qualified us for the next stage. Remember, the Champions League is not as difficult as it used to be because of the league format as well. So I think 3 players is going to be a lot. I think you've also got to give us the chance to see what the window is going to be like. But if we don't qualify for Champions League football, we ain't going to be signing the players you want us to sign, and then we're going to be falling behind.
I must admit, I forgot about that. The last time we played was in a league format, the old group stage. I know it's the new league format. I just think we need to, if we're gonna, we need to step up more now. So yes, we smashed PSG, but we need to step up that next little level. I'm not saying we need to challenge and start winning it, but we won 1. We need to start thinking about winning, like a bit like Villa did. Probably not as far, maybe, but getting a few wins under our belt, moving into that round, and that's what I'm thinking.
So realistically, though, if you've got a pot to pick from, you're going to need to step up. So who's the players that realistically that you can bring in Newcastle United Football Club that'll
Saka and Buemo. I wouldn't touch Gay with a barge pole.
Who's Saka from Arsenal?
Yep.
No chance.
Saka won't come to Newcastle. He won't. He's already said he's not.
He's already said he's not. Yeah, but how many times, Baz, have we seen? Oh, I'm not going anywhere. They go. He's got.
So how much? Right, realistically, you've said Saka there. How much do you think Arsenal will let him go to a rival? By the way.
Well, he's only got a year and a half left on his contract, 2 years max. Yeah. So I think they won't run the risk of like Liverpool have done with Van Dijk and that. So I think we can get him for a 40 mil.
Not a chance.
Not a chance.
Not a chance.
Right. The reason why I say that,
Arsenal won't do it.
Jared Bowen had a year and a half on his contract, Baz, when we were sniffing out Jared Bowen?
I think so.
And they wanted 85 million on how much wages?
Yeah. I would love Saka. I know the story. He's a Geordie. His dad's a Geordie. All that sort of stuff. But the only way we get Saka is if he runs down his contract and he comes for free.
The
So
only
Arsenal
chance we
will
get
not
the players
sell him.
like Saka bars, right?
Mm.
If we win Premier League titles,
Well, we can't win them without him. This is the problem we've got as well. We need to sign those kind of players to win titles. So
He's not with Arsenal. So
we ain't got
comes
the money
closer.
to compete with wages level to bring Saka to this football club.
Saka will not come to Newcastle. I promise you that now.
Right.
Not unless
So-
he comes on a free and runs down his contract.
Right, Baz, we signed Saka for 45 million.
Mhm.
He comes in on 250 grand a week wages because that's what he wants. Bruno Guimaraes is on 150. So you upset the wage structure straight away. So then Joe Litton goes, well, hang on a minute, I want this, I want this, I want this. Our football club doesn't run like that. It's on a
So
wage structure.
Saka current weekly wage is 195,000. Reports indicate he's set to become Arsenal's highest paid player with a new offer that could take him to £300,000 a week. We ain't getting Saka. We're not getting Saka.
Wages like that.
We can't play a player £300,000 a week. It's just not happening. So as much as I would love it, and we've all talked about it, and would love it to happen, but Saka will stay at Arsenal.
Do you know what it is? The conversations we've had with our favourite man from TalkSport makes people realise what PSR is all about. The wage structure of football clubs and what we're allowed to do should put you into a realistic view of what we can and what we can bring at this football club at this minute. These
It could change, and it will change the more we get into the Champions League and all that sort of
these
stuff.
football players that come to our football club, the superstars will always be there, but the ones around them are called stepping stone players.
Mm.
The stepping stone players make our football club grow because we need them around the squad. We all want the big players come to this football club, but unfortunately we can't just do it just yet. We've got to be patient.
It will happen eventually.
Of course it will. Of course it will.
Don't
And like I
know
said, I'm glad I've had hours and hours of conversation with Martin at Manchester City. You've
Yeah.
got to realise that this is what this football club's all about. And he can see what we are doing because it's happened to his own door. And we all want the big players coming to our football club. We do. There's players out there, right? That will help us improve massively. But it's
I love Mike's dog. It's great.
financially right.
Yeah, definitely. Right, very quickly, Diacro, don't forget about them. Amazing sponsors. Bars 20 for 20% off. We've given away 2 $40 gift cards. Hopefully you've got the email, guys. If you haven't, let me know. We've also got Jan's Art. There's amazing little cartoony stuff. They do stuff. If you email him and ask him what you want, he will do it for you. So please contact him. All this stuff's in the description below. To all the Eddie Howe haters on Twitter again, honestly, sick of the sight of them. I really am. So they can have a bit of that. Save the date. It's back. We are doing it 3rd of August with Stanley Deaf Club 11 against the Through Black and White Eyes 11. There'll be a lot of us embarrassing ourselves on that pitch.
I would.
Well, you won't. Yeah, I won't. I hope that lass is playing again and she skins you. So 3rd of August, I can't wait for this. Hopefully we'll have a very special guest, which I'm just waiting for confirmation. I'm 90% sure he's going to play, or at least be there on the day, but I will let you know more about it. And a massive thank you to Henderson's Taxis in Stanley. They've agreed to sponsor the day. So please, if you ever need a taxi when you're in the Stanley area, use the QR code there to scan, download the app and order a taxi from them because they love supporting local stuff. So thank you very much to that. Yeah, I'm trying to think when the next... Tuesday night, I am back with Roger Thames. I'm really looking forward to speaking to him. If you don't know who he is, he was the voice of ITV football back in the 80s, 90s, and a little bit into 2000s as well, I believe. I always remember him because he was the voice of when we beat Leicester. And every time I hear those goals, he was the one commentating on it. And going back to that Leicester 7-1 win when we got into the Premier League with Kevin Keegan and all that was absolutely amazing. So I will be looking forward to speaking to him.
Baz,
Yes, Ian? Yeah.
Brighton's player of the match.
You've already confirmed it. Mike has.
What's that?
Belieber.
Do you think Belieber was man of the match for you?
I don't know. For Brighton, I don't know. I wasn't really paying
He was.
attention. You said Dan Burn for Newcastle.
I said Dan Burn.
I don't think we really had a man of a match performance, to be honest with you, on that pitch today. I thought it was very bland. Yeah, it's difficult to pull one out. I thought Dan Burn did well. I thought Shaw did well. But it's horrible that you're talking about two centre-backs in a game where we really should have been talking about our forward players. But yeah, you probably have to give it to Dan Burn. You're definitely going Dan Burn, aren't you?
Me, 1,000,000% Dan Burn.
Mhm.
I thought he was strong, very good. His tackling was very good. Do you know what? Even in tight areas, I thought his possession was very good. Apart from one little slack challenge in first off, I thought he was outstanding.
Yeah, and it is Deaf Awareness Week. I did put up the thing, Mandy, so that's already mentioned. I put the chat up for you. Don't you worry about it. I'm trying to go to bed because I want to go to work tomorrow. John, very quickly, your man of the match.
I don't think there was any really. It was one of those matches where I don't think there was any that stood out. You know, it was
Everyone was kind of average, weren't they?
It was as I said, it was just very vanilla. It happened. We got a point. I'll take the point. I'd like to have seen 3, but it was just very vanilla. I don't think any player on either side really stood out for me. So the keeper had a couple of good saves. The Brighton keeper. So yeah, that's it really.
I love the vanilla. It's class.
Vanilla,
It was though, Ian. It was vanilla. Yeah. It was just meh.
The highest statistical player
vanilla
on the pitch.
I love a vanilla.
Right, the highest statistic player on the pitch for Newcastle was Fabian Shaw, 7.5. Really? Yeah. 3 clearances, 2 tackles, 1 interception, 90% passing accuracy from 67 passes out of 60, 9 out of 13 long balls. He won 6 out of 6 aerial duels. He won 2 out of 3 ground duels. So Shaw was statistically for them. For Brighton, Estepinian at left back. 7.5 he got, and Minter got a 7.4, so he was just underneath it, and the keeper got a 7.4 as well. Tonali got one of his highest ratings on SofaScore. Do you know how all the time we think Tonali's had an amazing game, then we look at the statistics, he's like a 6.9. He actually had a 7.3 today, apparently, and I thought Tonali had one of his poorest games. So it just shows you, doesn't it, that the statistics can also be very,
No, but it's great
underwhelming.
Though. Football's all about opinions, and this is why we're on this show, because everybody's got a different opinion of what they've watched and watched the game, and it's because we all love it, and no matter what anybody else comes on here and says he was better than him or whatever's better than this, it doesn't make a difference because it's your own opinion. It's just because we all love it, and that's why we love this beautiful game, and it's absolutely fantastic.
Absolutely.
Just as a quick note, I looked at Flash Score. Flash Score gave Isak 7.5. He was our top rated player.
7.3 on here for Isak.
And then for Brighton, Minte at 7.7, closely followed by Estupinan at 7.6. That's on Flash Score. So
yeah.
It all depends on how they monitor it.
Just clever though, isn't it? The goal scorers
seem to get the highest. Yeah, well, that's what happens. Harvey Barnes got a 7.1.
Honestly, Isak for me was non-existent apart from when he scored. But it's not. I'm not being critical because of his performance. It's just because the way we didn't bring him into the game, so he was isolated.
No, he was. Yeah.
And then that's why he should be marked so low.
Yeah. It's going to be very interesting next week who starts for me. Right. Thank you very. No, Barnes and Gordon.
For me,
Gordon's got to come in for me.
I think Murphy comes out.
Yeah, personally. We'll talk about it on Friday. We should be back on Friday for that. I will be back on Tuesday night with the interview. Mike, sorry you've had to listen to a lot of Newcastle stuff tonight, but thank you very much for your input on Brighton, and obviously congratulations on your point. And we will see you next season as always. Just stop being our fucking bogey team.
Guys, I mean it. All the best for the remainder of the season. Champions League. All right.
Thanks, Mike. Appreciate it, man. Right. Good night, everyone. Take care.
Cheers, everyone.